Hi, it's Jocelyn. In the last few episodes, we've been building a clone of the Voice Memos app for Apple platforms for the command line. And today we're going to add the ability to import existing clips. So to do that, we're going to use Symphonia, which is a pure Rust media container and audio decoding library. So we'll get started by copying this into cargo.toml. And they do have examples listed here. Or rather, they have one example, but that's enough. And we're just basically going to try to adapt this for our use case. So what we're adding here is something like that. Import a clip of a given path. Let's see. The name is not specified. The clip will be named after the path. All right. So we can add a new command here, which is just import. We'll take a path. So we're using a string here. We could be using a path buff, which would help us support non-Unicode paths, but I think for now, just requiring that paths be Unicode is reasonable. And name, which is optional. And this help is valid. Oops. We have the name of the path to import. And we also have the path to import. All right, and now we need to add this here. All right, so we might not have a name. So in that case, we'll say let name equals name.unwrap or else. Path.clone. In this way, we'll always have a name, even if it's just the path. And so it's going to be like record. We're going to have a clip that we get from. We're going to make a new import function, and we will save it to the database. Of course, we'll need to write this import function. We'll have a similar type signature to record, taking a name and a path, and hopefully returning an audio clip. All right, so in our example, we have a bunch of imports. I bet we'll need those. And I'm just going to copy paste those. All right, so we're not getting command. Oh, I said record here, I meant to import. Okay, so we do not need args. These imports we do need as well. So we have path.new. Instead of args1, we're going to take the path. It's complaining about something. Oh, right, we need two arguments here. Wonderful. Okay, so this is all valid. We create a media source stream. And okay, so we have some unwraps here. We don't want to crash. Instead, we want to just return an error if something goes wrong. So we will do that. Okay, here this is an option, not a result, so we need to convert that into an option first, or into a result first. So we'll to do that, there's an OK or else method. Then we'll say no default track. So it detects the format, so we don't need to worry about that. It's really convenient. All right, and it looks like at the end we have our buff.samples. And we only increment count a sample count there, so it just looks like at this point it's done. Okay, and I guess we should probably make an audio clip then. Instead of putting it, or like, yeah, there's no buffer for like everything, but we do need to put it somewhere. So, or like, so there's nothing to remove, but we do need to create an audio clip. So we need an ID, which is none, hasn't been saved to the database yet. We need a name, which we have. We need a date. So let's see. We probably want the creation date of the file. Okay. So is there a way to get the data from a file? There is, look at that. That can fail, and then we'll say created, which can also fail. And then we need to convert this into, okay, so this is system time. We need to convert this into the chronotype. Actually, maybe just from works, so we'll try that. So we'll say date time of type UTC from, does this work? We'll see. Oh, looks like that works. Wonderful. Okay. And then we need our samples, which will just be an defect. And then we need our sample rate, which hopefully we can get somewhere from Symphonia. Okay. Looks like that's in codec params. So hopefully we can do track dot codec params sample rate. That is an option. It needs to be set. If it's not set, there's something wrong. So we can use our OK or function again, or OK or else rather. and return an error if we can't get that. All right, now we have an empty clip. We can return this at the end. Okay, so let's see. Here we do have copy interleaved ref. Look at this example here. What does copy interleaved ref do? So it's not there, that's for type sample buffer. It's probably in like some separate crate or something. That's in Symphonia Core Audio, which looks like it's Symphonia Core. Maybe that's also version 4.0. Let's see. Wonderful, okay. So we'll look for sample buffer. Okay, there's also a planar. We just want the mono data. I think it's probably easier for now just to copy it into an interleave buffer and then copy it into the samples. So to do that, we can do something like good, there's the samples function. Samples is of type, okay, yep, a slice of samples. That hopefully means we can change it into an iterator. And then there's a step by function where we can step by the number of channels and hopefully collect that. We need to know the number of channels though. This might also be something that we can get from the codec parameters. Look at that. I like when things are not too surprising. Return an error if it sometimes is unspecified. We now have our number of channels. Actually, what is the type of channels? It is a U32, but it's not something that we can just convert into U32, is it? Fortunately, there is a count function, so we'll do channels.count. Okay. And then we can copy that into, copy that into our clip. So we have clip dot samples dot, I think it's extend from slice. Monodata. All right. So regardless of the number of channels, we're just copying the first one. And so this is a reference. We just need floating points. So iterators have a copy method for that. This is not from today, but might as well get rid of this warning. All right, so hopefully we can import something now. Let's see. So I can open Audacity. Let's see, there we go. And just record a simple mono track to start with. So, all right, I'm testing. And I can export this to, let's see, I'm just going to put this in downloads. Call it import test. Let's do an MP3 because that's more exciting, and we can just export that. All right, so now we can see if this works. So let's see, cover run import. Let's get the help for that. Look at all the formats it supports. Okay, so we have our path, which is downloads, and then we said import test MP3, and for now we just won't give a name. No suitable reader found. So here we see that MP3s are not there by default. So let's look at the features. So we'll go to Symphonia, and here this thing will give us our feature flags. So we have wave flag, PCM, OGG, and 4bis by default. PCM, OGG, 4bis. And there's also a few other ones. Let's just add all the formats we can support. So to do that, we'll go back over here. We'll say version equals this. And for our features, we'll add the ones that are not default. So we have ISO MP4, MP3, AAC. I think that's everything. And okay, we got another error. So it did decode, so it finished encoding the MP3, it looks like. And then there's an error that says end of stream. Okay, the example panics on unexpected EOF. Is this expected? There's no dedicated nor packets error for some sort of formats. Since for some sort of formats, there's no practical distinction between EOF condition and when we've read all the packets. So it's expected that the example crashes. Okay. And somebody has suggested a workaround for that, so let's go with that. Okay, so this is when we're doing next packet. Instead of just returning an error, we'll do match. And if there's an error, oh, this is so hacky. I kind of love this. Then this is expected and we'll just break, And if there's any other error, then that's still a problem. What did I get wrong? Oh, I forgot the arrow here, which I guess was probably over there. Yeah. Does this work? Wonderful. Okay, so let's try this again. All right, so it looks promising. Let's list our samples. Okay, we have a new clip. Let's try playing it. So that looks good. The other thing we want to try is to make sure that we don't do something really funky if we have a stereo channel. So I'm just gonna copy paste this. And I think there's a, okay, make stereo track. And I can export this. As we'll say, import test 2. And that seems to work just as well. We can give imports names. And that imported as import 1. Yep, that's right, with the same creation date. That's good. So that works as well. So that's really it for today. There's a couple of things that I want to do. I mean, that's it for importing. There's a couple of things I want to do though. The first is I saw that Clap released their new version on Twitter. So we can just change this to version 3.0.0. And the other thing is right now, if you record or import something that already exists, it just overwrites the previous one. That's really not good behavior. So I'm going to return an error if there's already one that exists. So we'll do this really naively. We'll say if database dot gets load name is sum, and then we'll return an error. Oh yeah, and I see we'll want to do this after this. Let's see if that works. Anyway, while that's loading, we'll also do the same thing for imports. All right, so if we do record clip 1, then this should fail if there already is, like since there already is something named clip 1. Eventually. Oops, I need to import this apparently. Wonderful, but if we do something new like clip 5, this should still work. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me, and I'll see you soon.